So, a lot's happened in the last few days. And on this channel, I have always preached if you're going to counsel war, it's not good for your mental health to get too high or too low about anything you hear because the other side's going to announce something that trumps it or is just as bad, if not worse, if it's bad news, right? And right now, you got a bunch of PlayStation dudes scrambling over this Helix thing, right? Oh, it's going to cost $1,000+ It's going to fail. Blah blah blah. Let's get one thing out of the way before we even really get into the nitty gritty, as the old folks will say, uh, of this whole conversation. It does not matter if the new Xbox fails. Y'all don't get that at this point? It doesn't matter. That company has billions, literal billions, more than probably double or triple or quadruple what Sony as an entire corporation, not just PlayStation, is worth. They have that much money to blow on shit like this. And they own too many IP to just get out of the gaming business now. Could they get out of the console business? Possibly. They can get out of the hardware business, but they own too much money to walk away from gaming. Right? They got too much money they own too many IPs, I should say, excuse me. Slur my words here. To walk away from gaming. If you're Sony, you've already beaten them into the dirt 2 generations in a row. Xbox One didn't do nothing. Xbox Series ain't really doing nothing as far as console sales are concerned. And they're still not dead. So why then do the fanboys of the PlayStation keep focusing so damn much on the idea that Xbox is dead, let's kill Xbox? That's not happening at this point. You keep killing it, quote unquote, and it just keeps getting bigger. You keep stabbing it, it keeps getting stronger. You know what, y'all? You know what would be great? It would be great if the PlayStation fanboys would use a good majority of their time on their podcasts, and some of them do. Shout out to John Hartsfield. It would be good if some of y'all spent more time talking about what Sony is and isn't doing right than worrying about Xbox. If you care about PlayStation so damn much, why aren't you asking particular questions? It baffles my mind how dudes can say, I hate Xbox, I don't mess with Xbox, Xbox is trash, shitbox, all the derogatory things going back all the way to Xbone and Red Ring of Death, right? And some of them valid. It boggles my mind how some of y'all will sit here and talk about everything a platform you don't give a damn about is doing wrong, but no one's saying why are these dudes making all of these damn live service games that we didn't ask for. No one's saying where's Killzone, because I'd have taken the Killzone over Hunter's Gathering. And somebody please explain to me why you would buy Bungie. Why the hell would you buy Bungie and not turn Marathon into PlayStation's Halo? Because if you know the history of Bungie and you know the history of Marathon and Halo, before Bungie was bought by PlayStation, Marathon is considered essentially a prequel, respectfully, and let's say in some aspects, to Halo. To the point where in the original 3 Marathon games, which you can buy on Steam, by the way, and Xbox, they should be on PlayStation, but they're stupid. And I'm just going to say it. You PlayStation dudes won't, but I'm going to say it. Sony's stupid, right? If you play the original 3 Marathon games, a lot of the maps in those games are in Halo. Literally, some of the best maps from Halo are in the original Marathon games. and they give you a live service game that has a troubled past with people stealing art, all kinds of weird stuff, and now you got these Steam numbers. Really don't know what they mean because on Xbox and PlayStation it seems to be selling well, but we just had this confirmation that they canceled their GDC talks, and there was 2 of them, and that's not a good implication onto whether or not this game is doing so well or not. None of you dudes are sitting here saying, well, why didn't y'all just make Marathon PlayStation's Halo? Yeah, why didn't you just make Marathon PlayStation Halo? You could have retold the whole story because there's 3 games in that franchise, right? There's 3 games in that franchise. You could have just retold that story, made it play just like Halo with maybe some new abilities, jazzed up a little bit with some Destiny stuff, and then had a robust multiplayer just like the old days in Halo. And that could have been your live service. The 4-player co-op campaign and then the story. Nope. Let's shoot for a trend. Let's make a fucking live service extraction shooter out of a game that's born out of our biggest hit ever. Our biggest hit ever was born from this game. We're not going to copy that success. No. We're going to do what everybody else is doing to make an extraction game. And this is the sad part. Only for DMZ and Call of Duty later on this year to, if this game isn't dead by then, put a nail in its coffin. Because that's going to be on PlayStation 2. Like, Dreamcast guy. I hate to target him, but he's the most egregious one. This motherfucker will make 8 Xbox is Dead videos. I ain't seen one Why Isn't SOCOM Alive video. I ain't seen one Where's Twisted Metal video. I ain't seen one. I ain't seen one of you dudes make a video talking about, well, damn, Sony, where's Jak and Daxter at? Nintendo fans are enjoying Zelda. Xbox about to give us Fable, and the Xbox players gonna get Fable. You could be doing that with Jak and Daxter. What's the problem? Between you dudes and the media, y'all have made Sony as soft as a bag of wet baby shit. Y'all don't check them when they wrong. Y'all don't put their feet to the fire when they ignore franchises they built. I am a PlayStation fan. Don't get it twisted. Right? I try to stay as neutral as I can, but as I said before, y'all make it too easy. Y'all make it too damn easy. You know the PlayStation that I fell in love with, PS1, PS2? I played that damn PlayStation 1 demo with Tekken and Ridge Racer and Jumping Flash and all them old ass games on it because I couldn't afford no game time. And then I got the ESPN game and all this stuff. The PlayStation I fell in love with had these new games. And it wasn't all made by them, but they were these new games, these new concepts that they were putting out and they were funding. And then as you started peeling the layers back, oh God, what's this Wild Arms game? Right? That was Sony. Right? Oh man, what's this Warhawk game? That was Sony. Any of you dudes remember a first-person shooter by Insomniac? The Marvel game studio? Because that's all they fucking good for, apparently. Remember that little game they made on PlayStation 1 called Disruptor? I do. I beat the damn thing. The problem with Sony is this. And shout out to VG Fight Schools because he made a video that I just watched on my lunch break talking about this. The problem with Sony is, and I'm literally going ape off what he said because he made a hell of a point. And I think he was shouting out somebody else. Forgive me if I forget your name, my man, but I got to get this point out. That PS4 era was the death knell for this fucking company. They spent so much time trying to kill something that was unkillable in Microsoft because the problem with a company as big as Microsoft is they got so much money. The moment they decide to flip the switch, you got to worry about them again. And it's not me bigging them up. It's just the truth. Everybody and their mother, since Microsoft's inception in, I believe, the mid to late 80s or early 80s, everybody and their mother has tried to stop these motherfuckers from getting their hands and their claws and stuff. And they can't. A lot of y'all think that Xbox is their first foray into video games. Look up the MSX, which only came out in Japan, as far as I know. Microsoft been in and out of gaming. They've been doing this shit. They got the money to blow to keep trying this shit. And it's too much money coming in and out of gaming for them to be like, yeah, we just gonna let that go. The $4 trillion industry, we don't want to cut it at. Sony concentrates too much on trying to kill Microsoft and not enough on trying to be great. You know what they were in the PS1, in the PS2 era. Remember they had a fucking Jet Li game where you had to fight with the analog stick? Remember that? Where the hell is that? We getting Hunter's Gathering? Hunter's Gathering and Marathon? The extraction shooter? Y'all not raising no hell about that though. Y'all okay with Herman Host coming out there saying, yeah, one tentpole game a year at the most. I mean, at the least. Which means at most you probably gonna get 2 or 3. Y'all okay with the fact that for this entire generation, from 2020 November up until now, and probably past the end of this generation, you ain't got a Naughty Dog game yet, unless it was a remake of some shit you already played. Y'all okay with that? You want to talk about Xbox all day. And the sad part is, y'all capitulate with the media, who then puts kids' gloves on when it comes to dealing with these fools, and try to hide them and all of their fucking weaknesses behind Xbox bad articles. This ain't the PlayStation that I fell in love with. This ain't the PlayStation that expanded gaming in the mid-90s. These motherfuckers suck. No SOCOM, no Twisted Metal other than a fucking TV show. Good one, but just a TV show. No Jak and Daxter. Really no Ratchet and Clank. Right? They fumbled. Think about this, y'all. They fumbled their own mascot so much that Microsoft now owns 2 of them. Think about that. Why the hell does Microsoft own Crash Bandicoot and Spyro? And y'all sitting here talking about Xbox dead. That's crazy as hell to me. Stop worrying about Xbox. Your problem is Sony. Don't nobody give a damn about nothing they making right now. People buy PlayStations to play NBA 2K, Madden, and Call of Duty, and Fortnite. Now, I'm not saying that stuff like Wolverine's gonna sell. I'm gonna buy a copy of Wolverine. I love Wolverine. It's my favorite character. I'm low-key waiting to get a PS5 Pro to see if they gonna do for Wolverine what they did with Spider-Man. Because when I bought my PS4 Pro, I bought the Spider-Man PS4 Pro. Beautiful machine, by the way. If they do that with a Wolverine PS5 Pro, that's what I'm getting. But I need y'all to understand something. I need y'all to really get this through your damn skulls, bro. Stop worrying about Xbox. They're going to go away when they feel like going away. Y'all want to get on Twitter and the rest of the fucking internet and make these troll videos and all stuff. You need to start asking PlayStation questions. Why are we only getting one tentpole game a year at the least? I remember 2018, it was like 3 of them shits. PS4, Sony was putting out fire every year. That's how they really won. That's one of the reasons they won. But when that Call of Duty money dried up because Microsoft went ahead and bought Call of Duty, now you ain't got the extra money to fund all these little extra games. So now you're just doing live service stuff and it's failing. Canceling them 2 events at GDC don't necessarily mean anything, but it can't be good. Hunter's Gathering's it's not polling well, right? The like to dislike ratio, clearly motherfuckers ain't feeling it. And the sad part about that game is it's got lesser chance than Marathon does because you only launch that on PlayStation and PC. Like, stop worrying about what Xbox doing. I need y'all PlayStation dudes, I need y'all to start asking the same questions from PlayStation that some of the Microsoft dudes that's harder on Microsoft ask Microsoft. I'm not gonna name names. Y'all know who they are. Y'all go back and forth with them on Twitter all day. But y'all need to start worrying about PlayStation, because this shit is not it. I don't give a damn how good Wolverine and Soros are. This ain't it. Like, Wolverine's cool, right? That game's probably gonna sell a bunch of copies. Probably. I don't know how well anything gonna do in the year Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out. Allegedly. Because that could always change. Soros is a sequel to a game that sold, what, 2.5 to 5 million copies? If you don't like roguelike, bullet hell, third-person shooters, you don't give a fuck. I know way more people like something like Twisted Metal. I know way more people will be appealed to something like SOCOM. If you want to make live service games, where the fuck is that? Way more people will probably like Killzone. You want to make a live service game, where the fuck is that? Twisted Metal could be a live service. Like, there's so many things you could be leaning into. Fair Games is still happening, even though Jade Raymond done left, and the guy that followed her up has left. Haven Studios for now still open. That game is still coming out, even though nobody gives a shit. Y'all not asking them questions, but we can sit here. Oh, the Helix is just a PC. It's not an Xbox. Xbox doesn't make consoles. Who gives a fuck? You ain't gonna play it anyway. You're not gonna play it anyway. Nobody give a fuck what you think. Ask Sony why they only putting out one tentpole game a year. Ask Sony why they making live service games or franchises that don't need them, and ignoring franchises that easily could be translated into live service games. Why are we getting Horizon Hunters Gathering and not getting SOCOM? You want to solve your Call of Duty problem? You got a whole fucking franchise sitting right there. Hell, bring back MAG. Y'all not asking these questions. And that's my problem, because y'all claim to love PlayStation so damn much that you'll get on the internet and write 18 fucking paragraph posts, and you know who I'm talking about, explaining why Microsoft is bad. Y'all get on the internet and dox patients on your fucking operating tables and then claim it was council passion. Y'all get on the internet threatening developers, sending them unsolicited dick pics. Y'all do all of the wild goofball shit in the world, but you won't ask PlayStation what the fuck they doing. That's crazy to me. I'm done with it. I'm done with the video. But you let me know what you think. Am I wrong? Because I see the Xbox guys, at least the better ones, at least putting Xbox's feet to the fire. I may not necessarily agree with a lot of stuff they saying about it, but at least they talking to developers. They taking pictures with motherfuckers who making the consoles. I ain't seen none of you Sony dudes take no pictures, interview nobody that's actually working at that bitch except for Colin Moriarty. And he an industry insider, so we already know why he getting those interviews. They not talking to anybody below him. Because y'all don't make your voices matter. You just capitulate to all they bullshit. You not helping them, you hurting them. Let that sizzle in your spirit. I'll catch y'all in the next video.